Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray that the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we may get a much better understanding of things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to be getting into a little bit of an article that I kind of heard on the news and kind of looked up the article and read a little bit of it. And we're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on. What we're seeing is the reason as to why wisdom of Solomon had been taken out of many of the scriptures, as well as the translations changed. Because wisdom of Solomon is pretty much, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 is proving exactly what is going on right now with the Gentile nations. As you can see, at first, when COVID showed up and they shut down everything in March, you're going to see that this was a turning point in history. It was a kind of like an AD, or after death of Yahushua kind of moment, because it was marking the end of the times of the Gentiles. Pretty much Trump made his decision on around March 13th, and in the following week was our new year. And before our new year began, they were beginning to shut down everything. And in this article, they actually make a reference to pretty much how life was before March and how things are going after March, and how things have changed so drastically. And as you can see, many people are not adjusting well to the last few weeks of the end of the times of the Gentiles. In fact, the Gentiles are going so crazy that they don't even care about their own laws and whatever else. They just want to go out and enjoy their lives here on our lands. This article that we're going to get into goes into this, okay, and how they're willing to give up death, so in order for them to be able to enjoy our lands and their way of life. But once the Most High has made that declaration that that's the end, that's what it is. And now they're just kind of fighting because the Most High has made those declarations that it's the end of their time, controlling absolutely everything. And they call it the American way of life. If they don't open up the economy, they're going to lose their way of life. Well, their way of life has already been taken away from them by the Most High. And a brother sent me a little article and was talking about how one of the people were saying that, what was he saying? That life was not going to be able to return back to normal until at least a year and a half. Hold on real fast. Well, Bill Gates was saying that Bill Gates says life will go back to normal no sooner than 1 to 2 years. This is from Sputnik International. Thank you, brother, for sending me that article. Now, can you think of what the American society or way of life will look like if that's even true? If it's 1 to 2 years, look at how bad the economy's gotten in less than 2 months. You imagine what it would look like in 2 years? It wouldn't be an economy anymore. And these people realize that. So they're like, pretty much just screw it. They want to be here for a short time. Well, no, what is it? They want to be here for a good time, not a long time. And that's exactly what they're thinking. That's their whole YOLO mentality. And that's all talked about in this Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. They've always tried to portray themselves as loving everybody, keeping, loving everybody, wanting everybody to have a nice long life. And now that's being exposed as being absolutely false. These people only care about enjoying themselves and taking control of our blessing. But now that blessing has been taken away, all of a sudden now it's my constitutional right. It's my liberty. And that's not what it is. Your constitutional rights, it goes back to the Most High. He gave you the liberty of coming over here and taking over our lands, taking over our people, taking over our labor. And you thought this was going to be for a long time. You thought this was going to be forever. But it's not. It has an expiration date. And it switched during the new year that we just went into in March. Never to go back to how it was before. Now let's jump into this article real quick. It's just amazing how we always have to talk. It's always like these same Gentiles that we got to get their opinions on everything. But in this video, and here in this article, it's Christie, okay? It's an opinion section about Christie, all right? It says why we need to take a reasonable risk to restore economic prosperity. So pretty much they're just, hey, we're gonna just let people die in order to get this economy going, our way of life going. We're just gonna have to let people die. Trump was saying the same thing, so it seems like they're having the same people just go out there and give their opinions. It's pretty much the same thing now, exposing themselves as the whole, I'm here for a good time. I'm not here for a long time, and that's the way we're gonna live as Americans going forward. And they don't care how many people die. And they don't care either because they're fighting to get out of their houses and fighting to get back to work and everything else. Fighting to get pretty much our people to go back to work and die in order to make them, happy and be able to live the life that they want to live. So this is from May 8th, okay? Christie, a Republican, was governor of New Jersey from 2010 to 2018. There is a false choice being peddled in the current debate over how to handle the pandemic. That those who advocate for a measured reopening for our economy value money over health and life. Well, that's true, but this isn't them. I respectfully disagree. I think the real choice is this: whether to inflict irreparable damage on the American way of life or to take reasonable risks to restore economic prosperity. So like I said, it's pretty much what the Most High has done to them. It's either you stay in your homes and stay away, and stop spreading the virus, or you come out and you try to live your life while spreading the virus all over the place. And so there's no easy solutions. And like I said, this is all predicated as we continue on the new year and how much worse it's getting, and it's not going to get any better. The grim reality is that additional lives will be lost as we reopen our country. In fact, as a result of reopening our country, but the equally grim reality is that additional lives will most certainly be lost if we do not. You're not going to lose as many, but you're going to lose a lot more by opening up everything, okay? What will we say to those who, because of the despair, okay, caused by hunger, homelessness, and economic ruin, fall victim to domestic violence, drug addiction, and depression? There are no easy or cost-free solutions. Well, they got the cost-free solutions for the last few hundred years, 500 plus years. They were able to do whatever they wanted. Most High has been keeping, he's been keeping tallies on, tabs on what people have been doing to our people, how they've not been following the ways of the Most High. And he gave them the blessing of the lands and our labor. And now that Most High shut things down, he's right. There are no easy or cost-free solutions, not going forward. Okay. In early March, I endorsed very aggressive state shutdowns to do what the medical experts were advocating, to flatten the curve of the novel coronavirus. It was the right thing to do. But these actions have inevitably accomplished something else: the loss of 30 million jobs. With that number growing every week, miles long lines at food banks, a loss of hope, and a sense of despair. Now, people were all saying like, "Wait, this whole thing is fake. It's all fake." Even if it was fake, the damage has been done. The destruction of the economy has already happened. So the coronavirus has already had its effect. And they were already talking about how it would take 10 to 12 years to try to recover the jobs. It's not like you just flip a switch and all of a sudden everybody goes back to work. So now they're talking about, you got Bill Gates talking about 1 to 2 years. Look at the destruction that this has brought in, 6 to 7 weeks, as far as 30 plus million people, going to eventually be way over 20% unemployment. And there's no way to just recover out of this. This is, like I said, the judgment of the Most High. People might want to say, oh, it's just the plagues that have shut down the economy. It's just the plague, that has shut down the churches. Who brings the plagues? The Most High does. So what you're dealing with is you're dealing with the God of the Gentiles that they've made up, and the Most High, who is above everyone. The God the God that they made up, of course, it's all about having a good time and enjoying yourselves. As long as they're able to go out, party, have a good time, go to sports, have their little stuff on the weekends, they're all good with Jesus. As soon as, the real Most High, who's above all, starts to bring judgment, and then, it starts shutting everything down, all of a sudden then they don't know anything about, they don't know anything about the Most High. They don't want to serve Jesus anymore. Or if they do, they do it, they do it out of just repetition. They're just used to, serving Caesarea. But now Caesarea is being proven to have no power. And now they all want to ignore the Most High that is above, the one that gave them the opportunity to be here. It's been a long time. It's been weeks and weeks, and these people are going crazy. You just imagine, if they don't go back to there's no basketball, no baseball, especially no football. Years of this. I said it's just going to it's going to destroy them. Let's continue. One of the faces of this part of the American crisis is Jean Wickham, a member of a family employed by the casino industry in Atlantic City, now out of work. She waited in one of those food bank lines for the very first time. I'm just afraid I'm going to lose my house, she said. I feel like a failure right now. Wickham, 55, has worked since she was 14 years old. She has not failed at anything. The virus and our necessary response have foisted this upon her and her family. No, it was the Most High. The virus and our necessary response have foisted this upon her and her family. It's the Most High who's doing all this. It says, now our challenge is to do what it takes to help the tens of millions of Jean Wickhams across the United States. I am not arguing for a return to rock concerts and full baseball stadiums with people without masks on top of one another. In other words, a return to pre-March 2020 America. You see, that was life before March 2020 in America. Full baseball stadiums, full basketball stadiums, full football stadiums, weekends of going to your kids' soccer games, football games, basketball games, travel ball games, going to work, going to the restaurants, packed. So this was all the world before March 2020 of America. See how things ever change. We have these, epics. We have these eras that change going forward, never to be like it was before. So that's exactly what's going on right now. The America that we knew before March will not be coming back again. And every day that we continue going into this new era, the crazier these people who have had their time, the Gentiles, that had their time, are getting crazier and crazier. And the hypocrisy of like all these police officers coming out now and saying, I'm not going to enforce these laws of people going in to enjoy parks, or wanting to go to the beach. I'm not going to enforce that. It's just they act like it's just crazy that we would pretty much what was it? We would arrest people for going to the park. We would arrest people for going to the beach. We would arrest people for going into pools. When that's exactly what's happened to our people. When they had all these laws, when we weren't allowed to go to the nice parks, we were forced to go to, the bad parks, the underserved parks. We weren't allowed to go to the good schools. They kept everything for themselves. And if we tried to go to their schools, if we tried to lie and say we live somewhere else in order to go to a better school, they would imprison our parents. If we tried to go to a pool that we weren't allowed to, they would arrest us. They said the hypocrisy is just being thrust into our faces, because now they're not allowed to explore everywhere, and they think that's their God-given right, and it was your God-given right for a time. It's not your God-given right anymore. So yes, everything has changed now after March 2020. It was our new year, and now you can see the Most High moving to restore things the way he wanted in the first place. But see, that's why these books being hidden are so important. They always want to portray these Christians and Catholic priests and churches as being places of, just worship, and how they love the Most High, how they love God, and how they're just such good people. But for the last hundreds and hundreds of years, these churches and these institutions have been used to pretty much justify all the horrible actions that they've done to the Most High's chosen people. And then they sweep all that under the rug, and then just put out a happy face, a good face, or whatever else about how godly they are, ignoring their history. But the Most High has not forgotten your history, and he has not forgotten his people. And that's why things have changed after this new year, the Hebrew New Year. You think any of this stuff is an accident, you're fooling yourself. If you think any of that stuff is just a coincidence, you're fooling yourself. This is the new world going forward. And it all began in March of 2020. You can sit there and think about how it used to be before and yearn for those times. But like I said, the times of the Gentiles, before March 2020 America, those days are over. Even if the virus was to magically just disappear, the damage has already been done to the economy. Now, they can fake things with the stock market like they always do, but that fake stock market has nothing to do with the real economy of this world. So take a look. Let's continue a little bit more here. Instead, I have advocated the wearing of masks when we leave our homes, an opening of businesses at 50% capacity, county by county, as local circumstances allow, requiring temperature checks as a condition of entrance, with increase in capacity permitted based upon data monitoring, continued sheltering of vulnerable individuals, and invocation of the Defense Protection Act to speed the availability of broad testing. Now, you know that as soon as they start opening things up, things are going to just spiral out of control. And I already saw they were talking about how since Georgia opened up a week ago, maybe, if that was it, cases have jumped up 64% of CV. It seems as if this is just a big setup. Most High gave us, a few weeks to break away from Babylon, to study, to draw our lines, to get away from, the destruction that is to come. And then it seems as if now these people don't care anymore. They realize that the times of the Gentiles are over with, and they're okay with just a mass amount of deaths in order for them to be able to enjoy, their little taste of heaven for a little while longer. And this is going to go rampant all over the place, because it seems as if all of a sudden, they act as if the virus is not here anymore, and that just by staying home for a few weeks has just, pretty much controlled everything. And they're willing just to go back and do the same activities that they were doing before, in order to have a good time. I was driving by a park yesterday, and there was like a whole bunch of people at the park playing soccer, having a good old time at the park. And I'm like, I think these people would much rather go out, run out to the park, go run and play around and whatever else, and they just be down with what happens as far as the virus is concerned, or the plague that Most High has pretty much released. So we're going to see real quick. We're going to see really quick, if the Most High isn't playing with these people. Because you already know, a couple weeks, or a week, 2 to 3 weeks, they're gonna just be a whole bunch of people are gonna be getting sick because they think this is a game. And the Most High is he's gonna pretty much show them, he's gonna demonstrate to them that this is not a game whatsoever. We're gonna read a little bit of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, and you're gonna see these people are here for a short time. Okay, so my bad. They're here for a good time, not a long time. And it's pretty much right here in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. And here at the end, they're showing themselves. They're showing their spirits. They know that they're not going to be here for a long time. So if they know they're not going to be here for a long time, then shoot, they're going to make sure they enjoy the heck out of our lands, and as long as they can and as hard as they can. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart. Which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. So this guy's sitting here telling you, we're only going to be here for a short time, especially that 5 right there. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. So they know that their time is short. So now it makes much sense as to why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, for us on the outside, looking at them, it's like, what is it? I mean, why not just stay inside, and try to be safe and try to be here for a longer time? They're like, nah, screw that. We're here for a short time, and that's it. We're going to be here for a little bit of time. That's it. So we're going to enjoy the heck out of this place. Let's go to 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. So it's all about speed, fast. We're not going to be here long. Just enjoy it. Who cares? Who cares if we get sick and die? Let's just enjoy it. This is our constitutional right. This is the liberty that our people fought for. See that? Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this. This is was the times of the Gentiles. So that's what they've been enjoying so much. Now in March 2020, that time is over. So now continuing with that lifestyle comes with a cost. And they're like, well, we don't care what the cost is. If it costs us our lives, and so be it. So that's why us as a nation need to just stay out of their way, let them do their thing, and let the Most High fight for us. Let him fulfill his word. He's the one that said it after the times of the Gentiles. He was going to switch everything. He was going to renew everything. He was going to give us back our blessings. So I have much faith that's exactly what he's going to do. So I'm going to stay out of their way. Let them go have their fun. And you can already see it's already last call. So let them go ahead and go out there and run the streets. And then see how the Most High deals with them. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.